Spatsizi Lodge, Last Louis Lake, a fly fishing resort in the Spatsizi Plateau, British Columbia. Known for its remote location, conservation of wildlife, 7 of us were to live and breathe fly fishing for the next week. With no road for 65 kilometres, the lodge was only accessible by float plane. Therefore, we had access to some of the most beautiful areas and first-class fishing spots the country has to offer. With 7 days of fishing, my mission was to catch a trophy fish. Although going through grizzly bear terrain, standing around in the cold, and being a snack for all the mosquitoes in the area, it did come with its challenges. But with the help from the guides, the amazing food that the lodge had, and with all this untouched terrain, there was a good chance there was a few hogs around. So let's see if I've got what it takes to catch a hog in what I call Hog City. Oh, they're around, boys! Hog City, baby! After a quick flight, we landed in Smithers. After seeing a grizzly bear statue in the airport, it was obvious we were in bear territory for the next week. We met up with the crew and headed to the lake where our departure was for the float plane to the lodge. Once we got there, the luggage had to be carefully weighed to ensure we weren't over in weight. This proved to be a challenge as we all had a bunch of gear and a week's supply of food and drinks, but we made it work. With another hour and a half flight to get to the lodge, it was time to take in the scenery. Once we landed, it was obvious how amazing this place was, and it really got us excited for fly fishing. Fish 1, afternoon, first day. Get down the floaty to access where we need to. 2.5 hours worth of fuel, so we can go anywhere around here. Not a road for 65 kilometres apparently, so
we're going to Hawaii.
After a quick telling off from the pilot for bringing bear spray in the plane, it was time to head to Ella Lake. Sounds good. Yep. So day one, we're just going up with the float plane to a place called Ella Lake, tiny plane. Gonna go try and find some rainbow trout just past the other guys. There was a black bear that was just crawling up the hill once the boys arrived, so it was cool to see. But this is the view at the moment. Once we arrived at Ella Lake, the boys got straight into business. Brian caught about 4 fish before I even got my line in the lake. So Tim, what are you going to put on there?
I think we're going to go to the secret weapon.
Oof.
Otherwise known as the purple atoms, and they tend to be a relatively productive fly. Notice the purple on the purple there.
Just started to piss down. Once it started to rain, we decided to head back in for an early lunch. After it cleared, Tim wanted to go check out the nearby lodges to ensure there was no damage done over the winter.
Time to scourge for the winter.
Sometimes the scavengers in the area, like porcupines and bears, decide to try their luck and find food within these lodges. Therefore, with the unknown of what we were going to encounter, Tim bought a shotgun just to be safe.
Bear scat.
After a quick look inside, there was no damage done. It was time to head back for a quick fish and then head back to the lodge.
Well, that was fun. That was cool, little place.
That was brilliant.
Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me.
With a nice early rise and an amazing breakfast, it was time for another day of epic fishing. We just got dropped off Tapatui Lake, gonna go boat down the lake, find the canoe down the river, back to the main area. Got our bear spray, got our food, good to go. It wasn't long until we found animal tracks, and our guide Dawson pointed out that there were moose and caribou.
Yeah, so like this is a moose here. You can see the hoof marks there going through the mud.
I see, yeah.
He's just digging in, and you can see the trail he walked. Got some caribou tracks here too. They're wider.
Yeah.
Not the only ones out here.
After a bit of a slow start, we decided to move spots, and it wasn't long until the fish started to come. Right, quick update. We just got down to the mouth of the river after fishing the top end of the lake, where we caught probably 10-15 bull trout in the space of half an hour. Literally chuck a fly and they grab in 20-30 seconds, so pretty cool. Then what we've got planned now is got some canoes. We're going to float down the river, chucking in some flies as we go. It should be a lovely afternoon. Relaxing. After the relaxing float down the river looking like a scene from Lord of the Rings, we headed to shore to cook up a couple of rainbow trout we caught along the way. We got back to base to see a massive fire going on right in front of us. A pretty awesome scene, although a little bit intimidating knowing it was pretty close. But we knew that we were fine, considering it was just the start of spring and the night times weren't hot enough for it to continue. A bit of a slow start to the morning of day 3, but once the boys got ready and the boats got out to the water, we were good to go. So walking down some grizzly trails. No, just a trailhead to get to a waterfall after travelling half an hour on the boat up the river. Got our gear ready to catch some greyling. So plan is to catch some of those, cook some up, and until then we've got a 30-minute walk through some pretty bear-like territory. And as the New Zealander, a little bit intimidating compared to the Canadian folk around here. But it's bloody lovely in the meantime.
So to my memory, this is the footprint of a cabin of a fellow named Charlie Abu. And he and his family, he had a wife and 3 kids, would spend the winters here. They spend the summer hunting caribou on the plateau, and then the winter they'd come here because at the bottom of the waterfall it's reliably ice-free, so they'd have water and they'd have greyling, and this is where they'd live for like a pretty long winter.
This was home.
This is home, man. Pretty wild, and not long ago. Yeah.
And if they ever couldn't get any caribou or greyling, they found that mosquitoes were a reliable source of protein.
So after a little bit of banter, the boys got their rig sorted, figured out some flies they might use to catch some greyling. So I'm using just a little dry fly on a floating line. This has got powder on it just to make it float. So further up the river there is a waterfall, and the reason why this is the greyling hole is because they can't get up that waterfall. As a result, there's an abundance of them here in this pool with some bull trout, so we tried our luck to catch as many as we could. So at the greyling hole, oh, I've just caught one. As we go, let me see if we can flip this. Tiny little greyling, little beautiful thing. So, just for third in about 20 minutes. So we're crushing it. Right, Jake, what do we got?
I'm not a bug expert, but
all right.
All manner of nymphs, and there's like these little black flies all over the place. So little black fly nymphs, green nymphs, scuds. But like, you know, it's crazy, and like mosquito larvae. But like, they're just
more
feasting,
singular,
man.
Yeah.
Feasting. What's going on, Sam?
I think I just got a nice little bull trout.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't look little to me.
No shit. Now I'm just gonna put it in that net and it's all good.
Right.
Wow, it's fucking huge!
Dude, nicely done.
So after the first 2 days of catching some pretty good sized fish, but no hogs, this was definitely the biggest so far. Just trying to redeem the hog. There it is.
This has been amazing.
It's been unbelievable here.
Let's go.
So after catching a lot of greyling and my first potential trophy fish, it was time to head back where we got yet again provided a first class meal.
Crispy lime tortilla. That's all.
You're also probably knowing people they're gonna.
Time for a dip. I got in 2 days ago, got out in 5 minutes, it was freezing. Try it again. It's so cold, I'm like dizzy. That's probably 10 degrees. Coming straight from the snow feeder from the mountain behind me. Yeah. Once we saw the boys off, it was time for Tim to fly us over to Cfish Lake. With an hour flight in front of us, we were told that this remote destination was known for its rainbow trout. We just landed 50 k's from the lodge, got out in the boat, we're off to get some rainbow trout. Huge mofos. Well, I've just caught one. Just as I was pulling up my line.
Come here, you beauty. Well, let's get it out now, eh? There we go. There he is, nice little rainbow. How good.
So what do we got here, Tim?
Oh, just wolf scat. And it's got moose hair in it. He was eating the moose. And the hair keeps them cleaned out so they're not susceptible to worms.
Okay. After we saw some wolf scat, we knew there was moose in the area, and that's what we saw next.
Some moose.
A fleeting visit from the moose, although it was time to get back in the lake and catch some lunch. So Grant just snapped the rod, so I'm just here by myself with a couple of chairs and my rod just for 20 minutes probably, just to do some fishing while they go get the spear rod out of the plane. Absolutely unbelievable here. Absolutely amazing. So we caught a bunch of rainbows, and unfortunately at this spot we lost a big one. Who knows if it was bigger than my bull trout the other day, although there was another day tomorrow. Yes, tough sleep, but we got through it, and we knew we were off to Rainbow Lake today, where the fish were supposedly the biggest in the area. Right, Pete, what's your plan and goal for today?
Well, I'm going to take a nap, then maybe get some lunch. Maybe go look at that cabin over there. These guys will fish. I don't really like fishing very much, but it should be really good. Big rainbows today. Big rainbows.
So today we're going after rainbow trout. Got a nice lake up here in front of us, coming into a tail out, and then those fish are just sitting right on these ledges, hiding in all these boulders, waiting for food to come down. Yeah, so far it's been working well.
Nice little rainbow to start the day. This is sick. There he is. Oh, they're our boys. Old City, baby. Rainbow Lake, 60 miles from Spatsizi Lodge. We've got Pete and Dorse, the guide over there, catching too many hogs. Now this place was fish after fish. Very challenging to not catch a fish here, especially small ones. They were definitely the biggest sized fish we've been catching so far. Big rainbow. Oh, he slipped. He slipped. I haven't had an elegant release in a while now.
Awesome. He gone.
After a good morning of fishing, it was time to head to another area. The guide Keith bought his axe to walk us through some grizzly bear terrain, knowing more than well there was a lot of signs of grizzly bears, including scratch marks and hair marks on nearby trees.
You find hair around there where they rub after they claw.
Right, so we're at Hogsville here. Big hole, chucked on a big old bunny leech just to see how we go. Caught about 5 or 6 rainbow trout now, the crew's doing great. So we're just trying something a little bigger. See if we can catch one of those wall trophy ones. Got a hog. Don't know if it's a rainbow or bull trout yet. So just taking it easy. Letting her run if she needs to. There she goes.
That's a big fish, dude. Nice and easy. The hog hunter. Oh, there he goes. Let him go if he wants to go. Nice.
After a good 10-minute battle, we pulled up a beauty.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Look at the size of that thing. Hello. What a fish.
Fish on the hog hunter.
Nice. There we go. Victory.
The boys had a great time at Rainbow Lake, and it wasn't just me catching big fish. Some of the boys even got some bigger ones. A fantastic spot, and time to head home for a good night's sleep for our last day tomorrow.
Well, we had just an outstanding day yesterday, and we're swapping teams. The guys are going to catch the big fish that we left a few for them yesterday up at Rainbow Lake, and our group, taking the 185, we're going to Jumping Rainbow.
Jumping Rainbow Lake. We were told that even though the fish weren't as big as previous locations, considering we had a bit of a late night last night, the boys were pretty keen to just take it easy, relax, and catch some jumping rainbows. Day 6, we're at Jumping Rainbow Lake, 4,600 feet elevation, but a bit of smoke in the area from the wildfires going on. Using a couple of Adam flies, a couple of woolly buggers. Not too much luck with any of those, but we've got one for lunch, so hopefully we can catch another couple now. Try and cook it up and have a good afternoon. Right, we're going to try a little nymph, see how that goes. Oh, there's a fish that just jumped. Let's trek over there and see if we can catch him. We tried our luck, followed by a quick coffee to then move on. After catching a couple more jumping rainbows in the last spot, we decided to get back on the float plane, cross paths with the smouldering fire, and head back to camp. So just finalising my time here at Spatsizi Lodge. It's been an amazing week. The staff, the people, the fishing have all been first class, and I can't recommend this place anymore. It's worth coming out, experiencing the wilderness, experiencing everything that you've got on offer here. Float planes every day to fishing locations. Thanks to everyone involved. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to make some content for you soon.